Hey everybody, today we're gonna make a beautiful fresh appetizer finger food called Tomato Bruschetta. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Let's start right here. This is a baguette. Baguettes are probably one of my favorite breads. Nice and crusty on the outside, beautiful and soft on the inside. What we're gonna be doing with this today is we're gonna be making a crostini. Crostini is similar to a crouton or almost like a cracker. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna take this baguette and we're gonna cut it on a 45-degree bias. All that means is we're gonna cut it at an angle. And the reason being is we want them to be bigger than this. So if we cut it at an angle, we have a lot more surface area. So let's get this thing sliced. We wanna make sure to slice it at that angle, and we want the thickness of each one of the crostinis to be anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch thick. All right, now after you have them cut, we're gonna lay them out on a cookie sheet that has been lined with aluminum foil. Just a lot easier for cleanup. Just give them a little bit of space. It's not a big deal. All we're really gonna be doing is gonna be browning these. We're gonna make some garlic butter here in a second. We're gonna brown these. All right. Now that we have it cut, you have these nice ends. You can do a couple of things with these ends. I like to kind of just keep them around, tear on and munch on them as I go, because it's delicious. Let's make some garlic butter. We're gonna start with about 1/2 stick of butter here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna season it with a little fresh garlic, some salt, pepper, and Italian seasonings. Let's get our garlic nice and minced. Just give it a quick little smash. We're just gonna run through it real nice and give it a nice little mince. I love using fresh garlic. The smell of it is amazing. It will make your fingers smell for a little while, but I kind of like it. Wake up in the morning, remember what you ate last night. Get it real nice and small. You want to make sure, just chop it up because you don't want huge chunks on your bread. You want to really just use this to season the butter. All right, let's melt the butter. All right, we're going to add our butter in here. Add your garlic in. Be careful not to get this too hot. You want to turn it to about medium, maybe even medium low, so you don't burn the butter. I'm gonna add a little bit of kosher salt, just a pinch, maybe 2. A couple of cracks of black pepper. A little bit of Italian seasoning. It's gonna be some basil and oregano, and a little bit of granulated garlic as well. If you find this getting too hot and bubbling a little bit, you can take it off the heat and roll it around a little bit. Once you get that butter completely melted, turn off the heat. Now that we have our garlic butter, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of it and just drizzle it on top like this. If you have a basting brush, that'd work fine as well. I try not to get too many chunks of garlic because I don't want it to be a mouthful of garlic. We're gonna get to those flavors when we make the bruschetta oil. Now that we have these nice and basted, the oven has been preheated to 400 degrees and we're gonna leave it in about 10 to 12 minutes. Get them nice and crispy. We're gonna start on our bruschetta oil. Right here, I have the pitcher for my blender. I'm gonna place a couple of items in there. I'm gonna start with about 1/2 of a tablespoon Dijon mustard, a cup of Parmesan cheese, 5 or 6 fresh basil sprigs, 1 clove of garlic. You don't have to chop up this garlic because you're just gonna emulsify it here in a second. I'm gonna season it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, some granulated garlic. Guys, I'm not using a lot here because I'm not making a lot. And some Italian seasonings. The last thing I'm gonna do, the juice of 1 lemon. I like to roll my citrus fruits on my cutting board to break up the fibers on the inside so we can get the most juice out of it. Okay, once it's nice and soft, cut it in half. And I'm gonna use this spoon to get the juice out. Now be careful, there are plenty of seeds. You can use the spoon over it and hold the citrus facing up and squeeze it like this. And what that does is it acts, oh, I got a seed. What it does, it actually acts like a juicer. Now if you have a juicer, feel free to use it, that's fine. Since we're just using 1 lemon, this is a lot faster. Just like that, and then the last thing I'm gonna add, 1.5 cups of oil. And what I've done here is I've used about 1/2 olive oil and 1/2 vegetable oil, and you can use canola oil if you like. The reason being is olive oil has a very thick texture. I wanted to thin it a little bit, but I still wanted a lot of the great flavor of the olive oil in there. We're gonna fire this thing up and we're gonna let it blend until it makes a nice, beautiful dressing. All right, now that we're done, you should have a nice consistency and color like this. It's gonna be a little bit green from the fresh basil, which is fine. Once you have your bruschetta oil made, you can go ahead and set it aside. So we're gonna dice up these tomatoes, guys. Whenever you look for tomatoes at the grocery store, make sure they're nice and firm. There's nothing worse than a mushy tomato. I'm sure you guys already know that. Cut it in half, cut the ends off like this. Then I quarter it, and I'm gonna lay that on its back, and I'm gonna cut the seeds out. And then after that, just dice these things up. We want them probably about 3/8 of an inch dice. All right, so now that we're done dicing tomatoes, we're gonna dress the tomatoes. We're gonna take a little bit of that bruschetta oil. We don't wanna make it too much. We don't wanna make it soupy. We don't wanna make it too oily. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit in to start, and I'm gonna stir that up. And I'm gonna see what it looks like. I just wanna coat the tomatoes. That's probably enough oil. I'm gonna scoop a little bit of the good stuff out of the bottom. We're gonna mix that all up just like this. All right, let's check on our crostinis. All right, those are absolutely perfect. You see how they're nice and crusty on the outside? You have that butter and the seasoning on top. You want them to have a nice crisp to them. So now comes the easy part. What I have here is a little bit of room temperature goat cheese. And I'm gonna take just a little bit and I'm gonna spread it onto these warm crostinis. If you do this while the crostinis are still warm, it spreads on there a lot easier. All right, once we get our crostinis on the plate, I'm gonna top them with these beautiful bruschetta tomatoes. And the last thing I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna make a little fresh basil garnish. I'm gonna pick a couple of the basil leaves and we're gonna cut them julienne. All right, once you have a couple of leaves selected, take the larger ones and lay them down and stack the other ones on top of it. And then you're gonna roll it up kind of like a cigar. Take a nice clean blade, and once it's rolled up, you're gonna do thin slices. Be careful, make sure that you slice all the way through and push forward, because these have a tendency to hang together. We're gonna take those, and we're just gonna sprinkle them right on top. A little grated Parmesan cheese, and there we go. It's our beautiful goat cheese and tomato bruschetta appetizer. Guys, if you like what you saw today, don't forget to click subscribe down below. Guys, remember, always keep the faith. Enjoy the food. Love you guys. God bless.